Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Tea and Hot Sauce Market Analysis Show with myself, Chloe, and Orlando. I am afraid that Orlando is not with us today, so you just have me to listen to. But let's see how we get on with doing a little bit of market analysis for you guys. So let me just grab the screen to start off with. So hopefully you should have my screen now. And what I'd like to do is just go through a couple of things that I'm looking out for. There are a few things on my watch list for today, actually, because much to a lot of people's surprise, these trends actually have continued. Those of you who don't know, I am a trend trader. I trade 99% of my trades in the direction of a strong trend. So I'm always looking for trends, and I'm always looking for trend continuation. And Aussie dollar is just a perfect example of where there have been several times here. We can see there is an uptrend. Let me just get my pen up. There is an uptrend here, has been since March. Higher highs and higher lows throughout, with few exceptions. There's an exception there where we've got we don't have a higher high, but that soon gets broken to a higher high. Then they continue. Then there's an exception here with a bit of consolidation. So that was a period of time when I wasn't trading on this currency pair. But again, we then got higher highs and higher lows as continuations. So the trends really have continued despite areas of consolidation, despite areas where you might have thought, oh, this trend has gone on long enough, it's time for it to turn around. It really has just continued. And all I've been doing is going with my technical analysis. Now, my technical analysis might not be identical to the next person's technical analysis, but in my mind, when I see higher lows and higher highs, when I see a strong trend, I will trade in the direction of that trend. The exception, you can see that I've got a very small position here. It's a very small position. There's the green entry line there. It's a very, very small position because I've been in that trade for a couple of months now, and I've scaled out. I did scale out at resistance levels, and I scaled out according to my strategy. So what's left of these two positions here are pretty small amounts now, but I'm still running them as per my strategy. So you can see that my entry was down there, and you can see that that entry was actually while price action was not trending so well. So I entered here, which was while I was actually seeing lower highs, which is a little bit unusual, but the important thing for me was the higher lows. As long as I had higher lows, and as long as I was convinced in my trend analysis and the fact that I didn't have any resistance above, I was still happy to continue trading this long. Then the next entry opportunity, obviously I did by then have higher highs and higher lows, so I was able to enter again. And since then, this most recent price action here, while it has looked sluggish, which I'm sure you've heard me mention last week, it still actually is showing higher highs and higher lows. So yes, they are shallow higher highs and higher lows. They're pretty much within a channel there. They are still higher highs and higher lows. There's no reversal signal there. There's no massive train track reversal. There's no massive candlestick pattern there to show me that price should be reversing at that point, nor is there a horizontal level of resistance up there to show me that price should be reversing at that point. All I can see is higher lows and higher highs. And so for me and my strategy, I just continue to trade long, which is why I took another long trade last week. It was at reduced risk because of the positions I already have on and because of the sluggish nature of the price action. But there was for definite a trade according to my strategy to take long there. So I did so. And I will continue to look for long trades on Aussie dollar for as long as these trends continue. A lot of the other Aussie pairs as well. I think probably either last week or the week before I was talking about Aussie yen. So we'll maybe have a quick look at that as well. So in terms of daily trading, I would simply be waiting for another retracement, perhaps to this level here, followed by another move to the upside. In terms of intraday trading, well, again, I'm just looking for a suitable retracement to a suitable level, and then I'll be keen to get in again. So Aussie dollar, even though a lot of people might be saying, well, that's gone far enough now, for me, unless I see a technical reason not to, I will continue to trade long. The other thing to just point out is my technical reason not to trade long has to look something like that. I've got to see a lower high and a lower low, then I'm no longer trading long on that time frame. So that's the 4-hourly time frame I've just scribbled on. If it were to be the daily time frame, it would take a couple of weeks for me to be convinced to stop trading this long, because I would need to see price come down, and it would either have to come down and give me a lower low below this point, followed by a lower high, or I would have to see a lower high first, followed by a lower low. And that would stop me from trading long any further on Aussie dollar. That's pretty much what I'm looking for on Aussie dollar. It's still on my watch list long. I did say I'd have a look at Aussie yen. Let's see if we can find Aussie yen. The reason is because I had pointed out this level of resistance just here. And that was what was preventing me from trading long. Now, we had a break through this level of resistance, and price has just continued upwards since then. Where is the next level that I need to be concerned about? We've got a little bit of a level just here. Not a strong level, not one that particularly concerns me. It is just from that area of support just there. And we also have above price. If I was being very conservative, I would put the level around about there. That's if I was being fairly conservative. So that's the next level that I am anticipating for price to head towards. So those are the next two relevant levels for any of my trading, whether that's the daily time frame or whether that is a lower time frame. And that gives me a little bit of a roadmap. I could wait for a retest on the daily time frame back down to this level. That's my strongest, most recent level. That could potentially give me a long entry, so I'll be on the lookout for that. But alternatively, there is this level here, which may give me an entry on the daily time frame, or it may be one of the lower time frames. And then that would be my next level of concern, a potential stumbling block in the way of trading that long, which on the daily time frame doesn't give me that much space. But on a lower time frame, it actually does give me quite a bit of space. So I'll be looking for a retracement down there. I'll be looking for an area of confluence as per my strategy rules. And I'll be potentially looking for a trade on a retracement on Aussie yen as well. There are a couple of other Aussie pairs that are certainly worth keeping an eye on. So Aussie is pretty much full steam ahead for me at the moment. What else did I want to look at? Well, I wanted to look at gold. The reason I wanted to look at gold, again, it's simply because the trend has potentially resumed. Now, what we did see previously, and we have discussed in the previous weeks, was we did see a very, very strong uptrend all the way up here. We then saw price start to slow down. Let me see if I can just get this box out the way. There we go. Price started to slow down, so it made this strong move upwards, followed by a pretty deep retracement. Another move upwards, but that did not continue to a higher high. I did mention at the time that I was expecting a lower high at that point because the retracement was so deep that it looked more likely that a lower high was going to be put in. So again, this is going back to my market analysis and my trend trading rules, where I will trade long until I have a reason not to. A strong lower high like that is a reason not to trade long. However, what then happened was a higher low. So I don't have a confirmed downtrend. A confirmed downtrend, I would have needed to see a lower low, and that didn't happen. I got a higher low, and then price came back up. Now I haven't had a higher high yet, so I don't have a confirmed uptrend. I would need to see a higher high above this point here in order to see a reconfirmed uptrend. So I haven't seen that yet, but what I can do is, first of all, I can look at a potential downward sloping trend line in that kind of area, and that would probably become clearer when we go to a lower time frame. So what I've got here is kind of a somewhat of a symmetrical triangle type pattern. It's a consolidation pattern out of which we have now broken to the upside. Let's go to a lower time frame there, and you can see that more clearly. The downward sloping trend line here, we had a false breakout of that, followed by price coming back to within this pattern, followed by price now making a true breakout out of that area. So while I don't have yet a reconfirmed uptrend on the daily time frame, I am still perfectly happy to trade long on the lower time frames, and I will be looking for long opportunities. I would have loved to have seen a retest of this trend line. That didn't quite happen, maybe won't happen just yet, but I will be looking for my strategy entries long on gold because of this consolidation pattern here that has been broken out of. And in order to really get the right areas here, we just have to make sure that we have that level there. That's the all-time high previously from back in 2011. That's the all-time high there. That could potentially be a level of support if price does come back down to that level. But just to note that there actually isn't a level above that we can use as potential support or resistance. So the only thing that I can use really is round numbers. So for example, the 2000 level, let's just draw a level in at 2000. I'm just going to right click, go to properties, and just fix that level at 2000. So that's given me a level at 2000, which is pretty much where this previous high was. So in terms of trading long, that would be an area that I would be just watching out for. That 2000 level is a psychological level. There will be a lot of people looking in that area. So therefore, if I'm going to be trading long, what I want to see is first of all a pullback if I were to be trading on this 4-hourly time frame, for example, and then I would want to see a good enough reward to risk to be able to trade back up to that level. I don't want to enter a trade here and then potentially hit my head against there and come back down. What I want is to have a pullback first so that I can trade up to that level, maybe take some profit or at least keep an eye on price around there before expecting it to bust through that level. So the other thing that we can do here is use Fibonacci extensions, as Paul was discussing last week. That could be another option. I personally don't actually use those very much in my trading, so I'm not going to be doing that. I'm simply trading with the trend and just making sure I'm aware of where my horizontal levels or potential levels of resistance might be. So that's gold and the potential for trading on gold long. I also want to cover those indices that we were chatting about last week. So for example, the S&P index. Well, it has continued on its upward path. It is now well beyond this previous all-time high from back at the end of February, well beyond there. I would absolutely love on a daily time frame to see a retest of that level. I'd love to see price come down here, especially if it were to come down around where the monthly pivot has settled this month as well. If that doesn't happen, if price doesn't come back to that area where the previous all-time high was, then I'll simply be looking on one of the lower time frames. So again, it's just a case of looking at trend and cyclicity and picking up long trades. But there is nothing on this daily time frame to indicate that price could be due to turn around at this point. Yes, it has had a long run up. So yes, it is due some retracement. But just because it's due some retracement doesn't mean that we should stop having a bullish outlook. So my outlook is still bullish here until I'm told otherwise, until I see otherwise. I'll still be looking out for long opportunities across all the time frames on the S&P index. Again, the main thing I'll be looking out for is large numbers. So perhaps the next level, we're around 3,500, so I would just have that clearly marked in. And the next major level, to be honest with you, would be up at 4,000. If I see any resistance before then and I'm in a trade and price is reacting before then obviously I will take action to make sure I'm at least getting some profit out of the market. But like just continuing to trade long. The other thing is the NASDAQ. This is trending even more beautifully than the S&P at the moment. I mean, it's just not looking back. It is just not looking back at all. There are the all-time highs from back in February. We've well and truly taken those out. We are steaming ahead. Anyone who wants to trade this to the downside at the moment, all I could say is good luck to you, because for me, the money is to be made to the upside here on the NASDAQ, and I'll be looking for long opportunities across all time frames, just waiting for the right strategy setup to get into this. Not interested in anything to the downside at all. And I will again look out for major horizontal round numbers. That's it. That's all I'm really looking out for, to be honest with you. That's all I can look out for to the upside. Apart from that, I'm just trading pure price action. So that is pretty much all I wanted to go through in terms of analysis. Let me just have a check to see if we have any questions here. Don't believe we do. Don't believe we do have any questions. That's awesome, guys. So if you do have any questions or any currency pairs that you want me to look through, please do feel free. It's I find it a little bit tricky to keep an eye on the questions most of the time. So apologies if I do miss any. But that is pretty much me for my market analysis today. Again, apologies that Orlando isn't in today. I'm sure he will be back with us tomorrow, and we will have our usual tea and hot sauce same time tomorrow. So thanks for tuning in, guys. We also have coming up, don't forget, we have coming up at the bottom of the hour, we have the US session preview with Jeff and Ash. Although I believe it's Jeff's day off today, so it probably will just be Ash and perhaps some other special guests going forward to the US session. So that is in just over 20 minutes time. Please do look forward to that and tune in. They always have some pretty exciting things to be trading and looking forward to towards the US session. So have a little break until then. Tune into that show, and I will be back same time tomorrow. Cheers, everyone.